about the past 10 minutes because I did not notice the stream was not on. Aren't I smart? God. Don't I feel smart? I'm running a little behind because I had to go back to work and try to take care of some things. Anyway, so current running order is Joe up at the top with a 103.0, followed by Mex Andrew about 4/10 back at a 103.4. Rawlings, Joe's teammate, currently down in last right now. He did just set a 103.2, but he invalidated off the final corner. It's very easy to do, and I was just going through the process of explaining exactly what happens to the car through that final corner here, turn 10. As you go through the downhill right-hander that is the final corner here, the car undergoes quite a bit of compression as it flattens out at the apex, which that just right here, you can see it. Doesn't get groggy to run wide, but he's not going to improve on that lap, I don't believe. LDR Redeemer lagging quite a bit right there, and Rawlings in the pit. Let's see somebody who's out there on the lap. Looks like Costa's invalidated. Silkweaver appears to be on a... Nope, he's on a cool-down lap. Lap into the pits. So we're going to find somebody else. DaCosta appears to be on a hot lap. He's about a 10th down through the first sector. See if he can make that up through the second sector. Runs a little wide. That's not going to help him out. Getting off into the dirt. Still a little bit further down now, almost 3/10. It'll be hard to make that up in the final sector. I think he's probably better off coming in here, and he's abandoned the lap. He's going to pull into the pit lane and set up for a final run. Here at Austria, we are having some strict enforcement of that pit entry line. You do have to have at least 2 wheels over that line, if not the entire car. When you hit the pit entry line, it goes across. And apparently we're going to have mic issues as well tonight. This is just going swimmingly. My headset just randomly decided to shut off with no warning. Despite the fact I'm literally sitting about 3 feet from my Xbox. Wireless, gotta love it. So we're going to look down here at SSR Rawlings. He's got one final chance to get out of the doldrums here. Can he do it? Make it a Haas 1-2. Oh, and he spun! Oh, no. That's not what you want to do. He's got time to do one more lap, but he needs to get things sorted and get it pointed the right direction. That's definitely not what he wants. Oh, no. Rawlings. LDR Redeemer coming up. Ooh, he invalidated right there. That's not how you want to really start the lap. You want to carry as much speed as possible to that final corner, but you don't want to do that because otherwise you are just wasting a lap and wasting tire life. Oh, what are these guys doing? And Rawlings looks to have gone back into the pits. We'll see if he can get in and out before the session ends. I don't think he can to start a lap. He'll have to get a real move on in the pit lane. Rawlings retiring from the session, just kind of saying, yep, nope, I'm done. 18th is good. I'll start from there. Thank you very much. Looking here at a guy coming out onto the pit lane exit. Dark Ice was the dark horse last week. Scored pole by, I think, almost a second, if not more than a second, over the field at France. And he's going to stay out of the way of that Williams coming out of the pit lane. And about 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock here, folks. So don't have anybody in the booth with me tonight. I am BRL Williams for the Breakout Racing League here from Austria. And we're going to keep an eye on this guy as he comes up to the line here. Looking back, trying to see somebody who's maybe coming to finish a lap. Andrew invalidated, but he's going to have one last crack at it here. He's invalidated this lap as well, so it's not really going to help his cause. Looking at Guido's in P4. Marlon Conger gets up to P5. He's going to head for the pit lane. A lot of guys heading very slowly into that pit lane. A lot invalidated as Aero 7, new face here this week, as far as I'm aware, jumps up to P11. I believe DaCosta just knocked him back down from P10 to P11. Dark Ice coming up to turn 3 here. We'll see what he can do. He's down in his time just a little bit. Pretty difficult to actually gain time through that first sector because it's only really one corner and a really long straightaway, as well as the remainder of the front straightaway after the start-finish line. And here's where you're really going to start to be able to make time, is through turn 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's really where your lap time is going to come from, as well as 9 and 10 around here. Let's see what he can do. What's his split time through the second sector? He's about a tenth up, so not really going to gain much through these last couple corners unless he just has a phenomenal couple of corners. Even a little bit will pick him up a lot, because from P5 down to where he's at in P12 is only a half second. What can he do off the final corner? He's going to run wide and he's going to invalidate it, so let's see what he can do up to the line here. No improvement. So, best he can do. Redeemer coming up now to that final corner. Does not invalidate. What's he going to do? It's going to be a 103.8, so that picks him up a couple of spots. And I believe that is qualifying done and dusted, folks, because everybody else is either on a cooldown lap or they are invalidated. So on the pole is Joe F1 in the Haas, once again taking pole position for Tier 3, followed by the two Ferraris of Mex Facetas and Mex Andrew, followed by ARS Guido. And then rounding out the top 5, tied for P5 actually, Marlon Conga and S. Sarzampa. Marlon gets the breaker of setting that lap time first. So a tied time, cap off the top 5 positions. And we're going to take a short break while everybody filters back through, and we will be back momentarily for the race. Stay tuned. All right, and we are joined in the booth here just in time for the start of the race by our usual co-commentator, Toxin. Toxin, how are you doing this evening, buddy?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Sorry about the technical difficulties and me being late.
Oh, that's okay. We've had our own technical difficulties. I had to go back to work to apparently take care of a customer who, by the time I got there, said, you know what, forget it, I'll get it in the morning. Love it.
Sounds about right.
Gotta love customers. You're dicks. Calling it like
They
I
have
see
their
it.
moments, that's for sure.
They definitely do. Sorry, we closed at 6 and you came at 6:15 to pick up your car. That's not my problem. Anyway, so you haven't missed a whole lot. Joe took pole by 4/10 of a second over both of the Ferraris, Mex Facetas and Mex Andrew GP, followed by ARS Guido in 4th, and also in P5, we had Marlon Conga. Rawlings spinning on his final flying lap, not getting a lap time in, starting in P18. We're going to see what tires everybody goes on. Should be just softs and mediums, although maybe we'll have somebody get adventurous and try to go for that hard tire. I did that. It didn't work out so great, and that's exactly what Rawlings has done, is go for the hard tire. Buddy, I'm going to tell you from experience, doesn't work out the way you think it does. The medium tires got plenty of longevity here.
I can get an invite. That'd be great.
I suppose that might help, wouldn't it? It's okay. I literally sat there for the first 10 minutes that I was on, from about 16 minutes up to about 6 minutes, and I was literally talking to myself. And then I looked up and saw, oh, hey, the stream's not running. Don't I feel smart? The predicted AWS strategy, soft to medium lap 15-16, and soft to hard lap 13-16. So, really does not do the hard tire at all here at any point in the race. Now, maybe you could try running it really, really long into the race. I ran it a little longer, hoping for a late safety car to maybe change my fortunes a little bit and get in on those soft tires while everybody else had to go and try to, maybe stick around and just deal with what they had. Overall, worked out pretty well for me. Had a lot of guys get a lot of penalties. Ended up P7, P15 for myself. Not too terribly dissatisfied with that, considering I really didn't try in qualifying. I literally set one lap on the mediums and pretty much called it good. And it wasn't even that good of a lap.
I'm in here just in time.
Indeed. We're waiting for the cars to file onto the grid. Heatwave disqualified from the formation lap there, interestingly. We will see what happens. We got everybody down to P10 on the soft tires that they qualified on. Then you got 3 guys on the mediums, 2 more guys on the soft, another guy on the medium, another guy on the soft, and then Rawlings at the back on the hard. 5 lights coming on right now, and we are ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go, folks. Lights are out in Austria, and we are racing. Everybody gets a nice clean start. Looks like one of the Mercedes there, I believe that was Heatwave, did not get the best start. He's falling down. Joe getting the lead through turn 1 as Facetas and Guido, or Andrew, as Guido now takes the fight to Andrew up towards turn 3. Side by side, Racing Point and Ferrari. Guido's going to have the inside line. Maybe he sends it a little bit deep, as looks like Facetas getting a little bit of a look to the outside. And we got a bit of contact there between the McLaren Silkweaver and Marlon Conga for P5. Silkweaver losing out a little bit in that, dropping his position to SSR Zampa, and possibly to DaCosta as he go down the next straightaway towards turn 4. And Fluky Flowers left session. If you could please get him back in, as he, oddly enough, sets fast level for 2 minutes. That'll get beat. No worries, no issues there. If you could get him back in the session as soon as possible. And we're going to look at position change. ASR Boostler up 6 spots already on this first lap. Heatwave dropping 4. Those are your biggest movers right now. Actually, Killer F1, a.k.a. Wiser Squaz. Oh, looks like Guido gets run a little wide there through turn 9. That's going to allow, or that's actually Marlon. That's going to allow, as DRS is already enabled, oddly enough. We got the Alfa Romeos going side by side down the front straightaway here. Looks like Dark Ice is going to get the better of Aero 7, or Aero Sven. And we got a bunch of cars coming very close to each other through turn 1. Heatwave now getting in the mix between the Alfa Romeos. He's going to try to make a move. You got Redeemer bouncing around like a ping pong ball back there due to his connection. Inside, think better of it. Fluky Flower now back in the session. Everybody's bottled up in turn 3 there. Dark Eye's going to get the run on his teammate. Stay in front. These Alfa Romeos need to quit fighting each other, else that Mercedes is going to drive away in front of them. Looking back up towards the front here, Andrew falling a little bit farther behind Guido, who is closing up on Facetas, who's closing on Joe. You really want to try to stay within DRS range of the car in front of you here, because it plays such a huge factor in the race. If you can just hang on to them and maybe do a little bit of a quick undercut at the pit stop, you can maybe get around them. But you got to try and break that DRS gap as quickly as possible, because if they hang on to you, they can hang with you. as DaCosta runs wide through the final corner. A lot of guys running wide through that final corner. Very easy to pick up time penalties. A lot of guys picking up multiple time penalties in the Tier 1 race. As, yeah, DaCosta running, I think, a little bit wider than he planned on. I don't think we're going to be able to see the race director tonight, so if you will just at various points keep me apprised of who has penalties and who does not. I don't think it's going to be popping up here.
I think mine's okay.
All right, just keep surprised of when somebody does get a time penalty. As we got a yellow flag in Sector 2, looks like Fluky is around at turn 3, and he is stopped there on the side of the track. Not sure what's going on here. Is he gonna... He is now moving again. So after 2 laps, we have... And I don't know why Fluky is still sitting there at turn 3 on the screen, but that's not good. He needs to get a move on. Disqualified from the session, parked in a dangerous location. Problem solved itself. Looking back up through the order, we still have ARS Boostler up 6 positions. Killer F1 down 6 positions. Still got a yellow flag in Sector 2 for Fluky Flowers' car, removing itself from the session there, off to the side of the exit of turn 3. Whoa, as we see Boostler getting very sideways out of turn 1. Good, well held for as sideways as that car got. The Racing Point driver still in it. You got to be in it if you're going to try and win it. But he was about to suffer a serious case. It didn't go 20 there, folks. Glad he is still pointed the right direction. Meanwhile, his teammates coming under fire from the Ferrari of Mix Andrew GP. He's lost time to the other Ferrari in front of him, so he's had a bit of a mistake or something going on there in the number 90 Racing Point that's currently running in P3. We have some penalties coming up. DaCosta Brown's picking up the first time penalty of the session for running wide over the track limits. Can't do that here, folks. It's very tempting. It's very easy to do, and it makes a lot of difference to lap time, but it's very risky. And those penalties can play a big factor at the end of the race. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Mex Facetas still within DRS range of Joe out front. In the Ferrari, Facetas now picks up a 3-second time penalty. You saw right there, cut across the apex of turn 1 as he is trying to chase down that Haas. That got him a lot closer. He's got DRS. He's going to be closing up on him down the straightaway. Not as much as you would think, so maybe he's running a little more aero than that Haas is in front of him, which can play a big factor around here. Really, really, really needs to try and get in front of that car before they get to Sector 2 and make the most of it. Got a feeling that maybe Facetas is a little bit faster as Joe actually runs a little bit wide through turn 5 there, or turn 6. Losing a little bit of time through 7 and 8. Might be a little bit quicker, but you can't really do much unless you're a lot quicker around here, and now he runs wide there off the exit of turn 9. Looking a little further back here at this next grouping of 3 cars, actually 4 cars, as Marlin is just off the back of this bunch in the camera shot. Guido still holds the advantage over Andrew, who is followed very closely by Zampa. Andrew getting a bit of a narrow exit off turn 1 there. That's going to cost him a little bit of speed. Is Zampa going to have a look? He's going to have a run, I think. Where does he go? Does he go left, right? Andrew's going to defend the inside. He's going to make him go the long way around. That might be the smart move here, but not quite. He's going to maybe get a run down the straightaway. Gets a little bit better exit. Both have DRS on the car in front. He's going to have to really send it in there around the outside. Andrew tries to cover him off. A little bit of a squeeze there. Squeeze him to the outside edge of the track. Now he's going to have the switch back into turn 6 if he can hang there. Not quite going to have it there. So he can fall back in line, maybe take a look at him in the next lap. They are about a second off the car in front now. He is out of DRS range of the Racing Point of ARS Guido here in P3. So that is going to help Zampa maybe make that overtake stick. The Ferraris seem to be running, as Andrew now picks up 3-second time penalty for running over the track limits there at turn 9's exit. Maybe they both still got DRS, it looks like, on the car in front, but now for how much longer, though? Zampa looks to have the advantage, and Andrew does not have DRS now on Guido ahead of him. Is Zampa going to take a look, or is he going to wait? I think he's going to wait, as Aerospan picks up a 3-second time penalty in the Alfa Romeo. Looks like Zampa is going to make a look making a move as they both now got DRS still. This keeps changing corner by corner who has DRS and who doesn't in this little bunch. Right up the back of that Ferrari, just absolutely inches from him coming into the braking zone. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Looks like we have Killer and Trace Me possibly around. Ooh. We do. Both cars are around at Turn 3, working on getting moving. Trace Me maybe sending it up a little bit too close to the limit on Killer. Here and see if there's any close battles. It looks like SSR Rawlings has made his way up to P11 already, so making some good inroads in the Haas on those hard tires. We'll see how that plays out for him later as everybody else's pace starts to fall off around this point. We will see what kind of inroads he can start making. He's got about a second and a half of free air in front of him as LDR Redeemer now picks up a 3-second time penalty off the first corner in that train of cars.
Andrew getting down really close there in Turn 3. Oh, bumps Guido.
Indeed, looking back up at this bunch coming through Turn 4, they're just one right after the other, 1, 2, 3. Just up ahead, Facetas still is within DRS range of Joe, but he's dropped back just a little bit to about 9/10 of a second, so he's barely hanging on to the lead of the race. Those three behind are looking kind of hungry. Just chomping at the bit to get up behind this Ferrari and swallow him up. Meanwhile, behind those three, you have Silkweaver, who's gotten around Marlon Kaga for P6. Silkweaver, again, just kind of having his own quiet little race there in the McLaren. It's kind of what he does. Just minds his own business, takes care of the car, and then gets a good finish out of it at the end. Looks like he's doing the same thing here tonight. He's got about 2.5, 3 seconds of clear air in front of him. He wants to shake that Williams behind him as Marlon now picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that's not going to help Marlon's case at all. And then behind them, you have DaCosta Browns and ARS Boostler, followed by Heatwave, who's got Rawlings closing down on him at a rate of knots. Already down to just a second. It was 1.7 seconds last lap.
Boostler coming with a full head of steam, closes the gap by half a second just in the first straight. Loses a little bit of time on the exit of the hairpin. It's a little wobbly, but he's right there with DaCosta.
Very easy to do because, that is, as I've said, while I was talking to myself earlier, it's kind of like a frying pan with a piece of butter on it. It's a little slick. Or I guess you could say it's a bit more like Mario Kart when somebody throws a banana peel out. And it looks like we got somebody in the pits. That is SSR Zampa going for the early undercut here in the Mercedes. What tire is he going to go to? As Trace Me now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Looks like he is going for the hard tire. Not the choice I would have made, but hey. And he's getting a nose change as well. Something happened there to Zampa to necessitate that nose change. That's going to take him out of that fight for third for the moment. We'll see if he can undercut these guys a little bit and get a bit of speed going and get back to them. As Rawlings now makes a move on Heatwave up to P3 under DRS. Easy move, job done in front of him before the braking zone. Still not a huge fan of that whole that thing where people do it. People do it all the time. They move back onto the racing line. As Heatwave coming back on him a little bit with DRS after making a move. I personally feel like if you get to the braking boards before you've really cleared the guy, you shouldn't be moving back over in front of him. But that's just me. That's just a personal preference. I prefer to. Oh, Heatwave getting very sideways. That's going to cost him a position of dark ice here. Goes around the outside of him. Good move there to avoid the sliding Mercedes. And now it looks like we have Joe into the pit lane in the Haas for his stop. What tire is he going to go to? Is he also going to go to the hard tire? Is he going to go for the medium? He is going to go for the hard tire. Again, not the optimal choice in my opinion. I think sticking it out and going to the medium is going to be a much faster choice. You might lose a little bit in the short term, but you're going to get a lot back in the long term. So that promotes
Boostler also onto the hards.
Indeed. So that makes Mex Facetas your current race leader with ARS Guido and Mex Andrew fighting over second. Silkweaver, again, just kind of minding his business there in P3. Gained a little bit of time on those guys fighting in front of him. And dragging Marlon right along with him. So Silkweaver just kind of quietly, calmly moving forward. Is he going to go for that medium tire? Is he going to stretch it out? Runs a little wide right there, so those soft tires have definitely seen better days, I think. Just kind of needs to mind his P's and Q's, keep the car on the track, not get any penalties at this stage of the race, I think. Kind of something I've been preaching myself lately is when the tires when you know the tires are about to start going off, maybe tone it back a little bit, because you're going to try, if you try pushing, you're just going to end up losing yourself more time, as now Facetas picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 6 seconds already. Meanwhile, the guys around him really don't have much of anything to worry about. Heatwave dives into the pits in the Mercedes. He is going to go for the medium tire. So the first guy, I think, making the smart choice here. Going to go for that medium tire, maybe going to get an undercut done. He's going to come out behind Joe, who's already passed him. He's probably going to come out behind Boosler as well. Yep. As well as his teammate and possibly Trace Me, who has yet to stop in the McLaren. Looks like he's going to come out right behind Trace Me, as Trace Me has the momentum down that straightaway. But Heatwave has got the DRS. Can he come back at him up to turn 3? It looks like he can. That's a good job for him to get that done right then and there. Doesn't have to worry about the McLaren in front of him through this next set of corners. Trace Me getting a little squirrely there out of the exit of turn 3. Bragi Oregano going to the hard tire as well. Looks like we have Mex Facetas, ARS Guido picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Mex Facetas coming into the pit lane. Is he going to go to the medium tire? I think he should. Looks like that's, they're going for the hard tire down at Ferrari. DaCosta picking up, and Trace Me also picking up 3-second time penalties. Silkweaver now promoted to P3 with Marlin in P4 just behind him. Still pretty close to the McLaren's back end. Joe in P9 right now, and Rawlings in P6, both on the hard tire for the Haas team. You can see Joe there in the background. So Rawlings almost a pit stop behind his teammate at this stage, but still has the softer tire to come. I think if he can stay in front of his teammate until he can get on that medium tire and go to the end, which honestly splitting the race in half might not be a bad idea for him, to be perfectly honest. I'm gonna Phantom and Wrathful, if you're watching, don't use the hards. Don't use the hards. The hard tire, while it is durable, does not really offer any performance gains over the medium tire in terms of longevity. It might be a little bit quicker for a couple of laps, but it just doesn't really pan out, especially if that's the second tire you're going to. If it's the first tire you're going to, it really doesn't make a huge difference, because first couple of laps everybody's bottled up anyway. You can't really use that tire to gain anything, so Rawlings now has Joe directly behind him to the tune of about 3 seconds. That gives you an idea of exactly where those two are in comparison. Joe starting on pole and his teammate starting last. And everybody kind of holding station up front. Looks like Guido did pit, and he went to the medium tire. I think that's a good move on his part. He's only about 3 seconds behind Facetas, and only about 5 seconds behind Joe. Got a couple of cars in between that haven't stopped, but they will have to shortly here if they want to get to the end of the race and not have any issues or just lack of pace. So we'll come back to that in just a minute. Facetas up behind Aero Sven and LDR Redeemer, those two cars that have not pitted. See how he deals with them. They are on the medium tires, although they both are 13 laps old at this stage versus his brand new set of hards. How much is this going to hold up the Ferrari? Because this is going to determine a lot about what happens later on in this race. Very wobbly through that turn 9 section of the track. He's going to have a run, I think, on Sven down to turn 1. He takes a look, thinks better of it, says, nope, I'll wait for it. Oh, and he hits him! Oh! No, 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 no. What on earth happened there? Facetas, wing damage, out of P2. That is just... what on earth happened there? I saw them go into the braking zone, and all of a sudden I just saw bits of carbon fiber flying, and I wish it would have switched to a closer camera angle so that we could have seen what was happening there, instead of being down there at turn 10, looking towards turn 1. Definitely one of the more dramatic camera angles we've had for an accident, but I wish it was closer so we could have seen what was going on there. So that's going to promote Guido into what is effectively P2 in the race right now. Andrew and Silkweaver both still holding on to those soft tires, as now we see Silkweaver coming into the pit lane, being very careful as Andrew's going to hold on for another lap. Silkweaver diving into the pit lane here on lap 16, or 15 actually for him. Doesn't get a speeding penalty, good job there. running kind of lean on fuel. It looks like he's got that little warning indicator up, so maybe underfueled the car a little bit. He's going to go to the medium tire, obviously, at this stage, so I think that's a good move for him. Going to come out. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out behind Marlin, possibly. If he can get out in front of Boosler, I think he'll be all right. He is now released from the pit lane, and he is going to get out in front of Boosler. Very cautious to not damage the car on that little right-hand kink at the end of the pit lane. And now he is released onto the back of Marlin, who also, I believe, pitted right there and went on to the medium tire. So now Guido about a second behind Aero Sven. He's going to get some aero wash off of Sven's car as he gets ever closer to the Alfa Romeo in front of him. Wants to try and dispatch with those two cars in front of him as quickly as possible because Joe is about 3 seconds up the road from Redeemer right now, and he wants to close that gap down while he can. Joe is just kind of riding on his own. He's actually right up on the back of his teammate as Max Andrew is now into the pit lane this lap. Probably could have expected that to cover off the McLaren. So the Ferrari driver going for the medium tire, doing the opposite of what his teammate did, going with the hard. Where's he going to come out? He's going to come out behind all these guys. So Andrew losing P2 to Guido, possibly even P3 to Marlin if Marlin can get down the end of the straightaway before he gets out of the pit lane. Marlin cutting across that. He is going to get in front of Andrew here. However, Andrew on 1 lap fresher medium tires. So Marlin undercutting the Ferrari just a little bit as we see Aero Sven getting very loose out of turn 3. Guido's already dispatched with him, looking up at the Red Bull of LDR Redeemer. And the two Haas cars still running 1 and 2 for the moment. We will see exactly what can Rawlings do to hang on to the back of his teammate and maybe start making up some time on some of these guys while he's got that clearer air and clearer racetrack and a faster car in front of him. Although he's now going to be outside of DRS range, I think. If I was Joe, I'd maybe try to haul him along and help him out a little bit, maybe get him a little bit farther up the field than he would be otherwise, using the DRS while all these guys behind are fighting, trying to make positions. He's got about 4 seconds as Redeemer now picks up a 3-second time penalty through the final corner. He's got about 4 seconds back to these guys. Guido's going to clear him, I think, coming down to turn 1. And Redeemer just kind of gives him the spot. Probably a smart move. What I would have done, gets a little squirrely out of turn 1 for his troubles. But does have DRS on the car ahead, so he'll make up a little bit of time up towards the hairpin of turn 3. So now Guido is released on the back. Go ahead.
Being here at the halfway point, who's your one to watch to potentially win this tonight?
Well, right now I'd have to say it's Joe. He's just had a dominating performance so far. So barring anything weird happening or a safety car, touch wood, I really don't see anybody challenging him for this win right now. Guido, I think, has the best chance. He's on 3-lap fresher mediums than Joe is, but he does have about a 5-second gap up to the Haas driver to deal with because he came out in traffic, and that is just the worst thing that can happen when you're on a softer tire is coming out in traffic.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a close one. I definitely agree. Joe's definitely, like you said, dominant race so far. He's just played his cards right and got through the pack without really any trouble. Again, yeah, like you say, Guido just on the softer tire getting held up a little bit, but not too much. I definitely think he's going to make it close, but near the end of the race, the tire difference may just go in Joe's favor. We'll have to see.
Entirely possible. Marlon Conga getting very slidey out of turn 1 there, trying to hang on to the back of Max Andrew, who got around him 1 lap ago for P6. So Andrew already looking to make inroads to try and get back up towards the front of the field. Staying out maybe a little bit too long on those soft tires, losing a little bit too much time. Really, I think ideally lap 13 or 14 would have been where you wanted to hit the pit lane to go to those medium tires. They might be a little bit dead at the end, but you know what? If you can find a spot with some clear track and make hay while the sun shines with those things, man, they can really help you out, especially if you're running. The other thing is if you can run that alternate strat like Rawlings is doing, I would honestly hit the pit lane right now if I were him. I would go for the pit lane this lap. Do 20 on the hard, 16 on the medium. I think that is the optimal changeover for his strategy. You don't want to really go too much longer unless you're going to try to go to the soft, which really the benefit is going to be minimal at that point. You'll be a couple of seconds a lap faster, but only for a few laps, and even then, it really won't help him make up all that time. He's doing a good job to maintain the gap back to Guido of about 3.7 seconds. So I think once he does get onto a softer tire, we're going to see this guy come just sliding through the field like a hot knife through butter. Speaking from experience, because I did the exact same strategy here and went to the soft tire at about lap 25 or 26. Got held up in the pit lane by my teammate retiring from the session, I think, or something of that nature happening. Just a few, got maybe a second or two.
Always Deer Hunter.
He was actually having a really good race, and then, well, something happened with a car that was still having to pit behind him, and pretty much we're not gonna talk about that because it still hasn't been decided what exactly happened. I haven't seen the entire footage. I've just seen what happened on the stream where it looked like they had a coming together at turn 6, and both of them ended up backwards. But anyway, if I were Rawlings, I would say that unless you're going to try to go to the soft, this is where you need to ditch those hards, Sunshine, because you're not really gaining much of anything on your teammate or the guy behind. He's actually closed down a little bit through that last couple of corners. Arrow Spen as well, also 20 laps on the mediums. That guy is going. Is he maybe going to go to the soft tire at the end here? I think he is, as it looks like he's lost a spot now to Mix Andrew. He's going to go falling down the order. So we're going to look at the gap to leader right now. Rawlings 2.6 seconds, Guido 5.5, Andrew 11.3. You got to think that when Rawlings pits, he's going to come out somewhere around that 7th to 8th to 9th range, I think. So if he can come out in front of Dark Ice in 9th, I think he'll be doing pretty good. And these guys, DaCosta, Dark Ice, and Dark Ice and Boosler, are all fighting over position as DaCosta makes a move on Boosler into turn 4, as Redeemer has actually come out right behind these guys on the soft. So this is going to be a good indicator of the performance of the soft tire right here. The gap currently at the Sector 2 split on lap 22 is 2.8 seconds. We'll see what it is on lap time right here. We're going to ride on board with Redeemer as he goes on this lap. You can see right there, even just through that little space of the track, he pulled 4/10 off those cars in front of him. And even through the final corner, he's already pulled off second in half a lap. That's just how much quicker as Sven now goes in. He is going to that soft tire. So he will be scything through the field kind of like this. But, I mean, just Redeemer is just flying along right here. He's pulled a second off those guys in a sector. Mind you, it's really the only sector where you can do that, as Zampa now picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's running 17th and last of the cars running right now. But this corner right here is where you can really use those tires to your advantage. He picks up about a half a second through there. That's about what you should expect. Costa now making a move on Dark Ice up ahead under DRS. Pretty easy move, looks like. But yeah, coming up here to the second sector split, he's basically cut that gap in half. Actually, more than half in just one lap. These two guys in front of him are on the hard. DaCosta's on the mediums. But not really going to make too much of a difference. Now Rawlings dives into the pits. He is going to go for the medium tire, interestingly enough. All right then. I would have already pitted if I was going for the medium, but hey, you do you, boo. He's going to come out right behind Heatwave. Sorry. That is my girlfriend's favorite saying. That is my girlfriend's favorite saying, and it's rubbing off on me. Anyway, moving along. So, Rawlings coming out right behind Heatwave, so pretty much right where I thought he would, 7th to 8th. Going to be able to dispatch that Mercedes in front of him pretty quick. He's on 10-lap newer tires. He's going to send it up the inside into turn 4. And a little bit of contact right there. And did the Heatwave get any wing damage off that? Doesn't look like it, but maybe a little bit of a clumsy move, but everybody's still pointing in the right direction. Got to say that's kind of a racing deal, to be honest. Was a fair ways back he made that from, but everybody came out looking pretty okay. Boosler picking up a 3-second time penalty there, as Redeemer now all over the back of him. We're going to jump down here and see if Redeemer can maybe make something happen. He's going to get alongside him into the penultimate corner. Going to pretty much just have a nice, easy move there with those soft tires, and now he's going to work on getting in front of the other two. You can see two more cars just up ahead in Heatwave and Rawlings, who are probably going to pull away a little bit. At least Rawlings is, as Rawlings has already pulled over a second gap on Heatwave. So now how far up can he get? He's on 6 to 9 lap newer mediums than the guys in front of him, and 12 lap newer tires than his teammate leading the race. Do you think he can maybe get the podium?
You know, he's definitely showed the pace so far, especially staying on the hards as long as he did, staying up there, uh, and keeping pace with everybody behind him on the mediums. I definitely think he has the pace to potentially get that podium. Um, Aside from safety cars or whatever may be happening, don't think it's going to happen. Everyone's been driving pretty great tonight, but you know, it's F1 and anything's possible.
It is. Everything is possible. Nothing is off limits. So we will see exactly how far up this Haas can climb in this final 11 laps of this race. Looks like everybody's pretty spaced out up at the front. Closest battle still going on here between Dark Ice and Boosler. Redeemer pulling away now on those soft tires, chasing down his teammate DaCosta, who's about a second ahead up the road. Gonna imagine he's gonna be able to dispatch his teammate pretty easily on those newer softs. However, they are starting to fall off a little bit. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Looks like we've had some coming togethers up at the top of the hill. Marlon Conga is around.
Ooh, Marlon.
At the exit of Turn 3. Unfortunate for the Williams driver. Rawlings goes by. Silkweaver goes by as well into P4. Not sure what happened there, but he is falling down the order, trying to get that car righted all the way down to P12. Very unfortunate for him. Just a good night undone by a simple spin. Done it myself there. Not a fun feeling. Not a fun feeling to take yourself out of a good finish, just on a silly mistake. It happens to all of us at the worst of times, but you just as you can never shake that just guttural, I just did that feeling, and it eats at you a little bit. So I feel for the guy on that aspect. Rawlings closing down to about 2.2 seconds behind Silkweaver, gaining all the time on the McLaren in front of him. I don't think he's quite going to have the speed for to get to the podium. He's going to have to make up almost a second a lap on Andrew in front of him, and I just don't think that's going to happen. But could still get P4, and then there's penalties to account for. You never know.
Which I will go ahead and check on. Andrew is one warning away from his third penalty, so it is definitely
still
possible.
All to play for. Joe, I think, is clean. I think Guido's got maybe one, if I'm not mistaken.
And 2 warnings.
And 2 warnings. So Guido, with Andrew's penalties, I think is pretty safe in P2. Groggy Oregano picking up another time penalty down there in 15th. Not really going to affect his race finish value too much. Everything kind of status quo. We're going to just kind of ride with Rawlings here as he starts to claw in distance on that car in front of him. He's pulled off almost another 7/10 this lap. As they come up towards, make that 8, as they come towards the start-finish line. Almost within DRS range, but not quite. I think once he does break that 1 second mark, he'll just rip right up on the back of the McLaren in front of him. Got to be careful of doing that, though. Do not want to get a penalty here.
Yeah, Rawlings only 1 warning away from his. Silkweaver actually has 3 warnings, but no penalty, so not sure what the other one was for, but...
possibly contact or something of that nature.
Yeah.
It's not
but
entirely
Silkweaver, yeah,
impossible.
definitely clean. Joe also
Rawlings just
away, so everyone...
absolutely, he's already getting Silkweaver here. It was 1.2 seconds at the line. He's by him at turn 4, so absolutely on it right now for the Haas driver. If I were him, I would just have a nice, calm few laps. You know you're going to get on the podium. You're probably not going to get much more than that. Just don't get a penalty.
He's got 6 seconds to work with. He's only 1.7 down. I mean, if he can... Well, actually, he's only got 3 seconds to work with. But if Andrew gets another penalty, I mean, he can play it cool right now. If he knows the penalty situation, he's in a good spot.
Indeed, Silkweaver picking up a 3-second time penalty there, as does Redeemer. And DaCosta Brown's left the session. Let's get him back in here for the end of the race. He's already going to lose at least 2 spots, maybe 3, before we can, possibly more. Unfortunate for him, he was running in a pretty solid 8th place right now, already losing a spot to both the Alfa Romeos while he is AFK. And out of the points already, so unfortunate for him. Going to sacrifice a pretty good finish there, getting a little bit of points for the Red Bull team here in the last few laps due to internet issues. Made some pretty good moves as well, which reminds me, just to remind everybody else, don't forget to submit your Overtake of the Week submissions before tomorrow. or before the end of the night, ideally. That will likely be announced tomorrow for this week. See what kind of wacky things we can come up with this week from the Red Bull Ring as far as overtakes. Looking here at Rawlings, that gap stayed pretty static at about 7 seconds right now. I think he's just kind of trying to run smooth and not get any penalties. Redeemer and Heatwave having a little go at it here. The Redeemer on that softer tire. Still got a little bit of life in it, apparently. And Aero Sven is only about 3 seconds behind, so we'll see if he can claw in the Mercedes and take P7, as looks like Dark Ice and Boostler are still going at it down there for P9. Those guys have not gotten away from each other at all. And continue to scrap for it. Rawlings gets that penalty, unfortunately, so now he's going to really have to dig deep. Still at about 7 seconds from the car in front, who's actually closed down the gap on Guido by about a second here. And now Joe picking up a time penalty there. Not really going to matter too much because he's almost 8.5 seconds in the lead of this race as we come up to start the final 6 laps of the race here. Not really a whole lot going on as Redeemer and Heatwave are still going at it here for P6. Heatwave got back around Redeemer. Maybe those soft tires starting to fall off the cliff a little bit, but then again, Heatwave's got 17 laps on his mediums, so it's kind of, I might call that even flow right there between the two of them. And then Aero Sven on a couple lap fresher softs trying to close them down just a little bit. Dark Ice and Boost are still going at it for P9.
Oh
Marlon
my
Conga.
God,
Who are you watching? Getting
Redeemer
sideways?
just gets a little onto the curb at turn 1, almost hits the wall. If we lose a lot of time, Sven right there on him now.
He is indeed. That's going to put Sven right on the rear wing of the Red Bull. And the only thing that saved Redeemer down that last straight was the fact that he had DRS. He doesn't have it now. Sven does. Can Sven make a move into turn 4? He's not really gaining anything here. Maybe he's just kind of holding back, waiting, maybe saving a little DRS. Just going to have to go full beans and send it, I think, to get around Redeemer because they're on pretty similar pace tires right now. Got a yellow flag in Sector 3. One of the Mercedes coming off a little bit. I think that is Zampa just not having the night. But I think he really needed to have. Traceman getting a 3-second time penalty there just in front of these guys, I think. Nope, he's actually a little farther back on the track, so that was not him. That is Silkweaver that we saw on the camera there in the McLaren. Looking back up, Rawlings now picked up the pace a little bit. He is down to 5.5 seconds as Facetas picks up a 3-second time penalty, fighting with Marlon Conga down there for P11. He's going to try to get back into the points. These guys fighting all the way up to turn 3. Look at that, just all over each other. Oh, maybe a little nudge right there. Yep, little nudge and a little bit of a argy-bargy, and Facetas is going to pick up 2 spots as Dark Ice and Marlon run off the track there. We'll see if anything comes of that. Kind of wish we'd have been able to see a slightly different angle of that particular argy-bargy. Looks like Redeemer and Heatwave still going on at Sven now in the middle of this battle as well. So got 3 cars fighting over P6. Andrew now within about 2.2 seconds of Guido for P2. So everybody closing up here at the end. It's all coming back together. It's kind of like this race has been a bit like a yo-yo. It's spread out towards the middle and it's coming back close towards the end as, Redeemer runs over the curb there. That's not going to help him out. It's going to put Sven offline as well. Through that final corner, he's just going to kind of have to sit there and bide his time while Redeemer gathers it back up. Coming down towards the end of the race here, got 4 laps to go, folks. Joe with a commanding 9.3 second lead. Guido and Andrew about to start fighting over second place. Rawlings about 5 seconds back. Maybe looking to take some away on penalties, maybe get on that podium. He's got to get a little closer, I think, if he wants Guido for second, though. Trace me with another 3-second time penalty there.
I believe Andrew and Rawlings equal on penalties, but Andrew pushing so hard to get around Guido, it's definitely possible for him to get his third. And Rawlings, like you said, just inching and inching. It's honestly still anyone's podium at this point.
It is, but those who start fighting for track position, that could bring Rawlings right into it. We've still got plenty of time. They start running side by side through these corners. They get very slow very quickly. DaCosta now back into the car, unfortunately, down in 16th place. Not going to be what he wanted or deserved from tonight. This battle for P6, though, is heating up. We've got 4 cars in the shot right there. Looking at Redeemer. One of those cars, I think, is SSR Zampa. He might be the one thing that is keeping his teammate in this fight right now. Giving him DRS, not really something that... Ooh, as Redeemer runs very deep, and that's going to put Sven offline a little bit. Is Sven maybe going to have a look up to turn 3? He's going to be a lot closer. He needs to stay behind that Red Bull until absolutely the last second and then pull out and make a dive. He said that is it. Nope, doesn't think about it. He thinks about it, but no, nothing happening there. Everybody, various lines through turn 3 there. Looking to get traction off the exit as now Heatwave gets by Zampa, as do the other 2 cars, having a yield as Heatwave locks up into turn 4 on those medium tires. He's got to try and keep these guys behind him. He's got 21 laps on those mediums, almost the most of anybody in the field, aside from a couple guys on the hard tire. Got a yellow flag in sector 2 as Zampa gets out of the way. That's nothing to be talking about there. Looking at this battle for P6, we're going to look at Redeemer and Sven, the 2 guys on the softs. They need to get this sorted out. They got 2 laps to go to try and make something happen with that Mercedes in front of them, maybe pick up a couple of points here. And looking back up ahead, actually, Andrew and Guido within DRS range right now. We'll come back to them here on the next lap. We got these guys right here coming up to turn 3. This is going to be the big run, I think. Redeemer charging up behind the Mercedes, and Sven charging up behind him. Sven's going to go to the outside, going up to turn 3. And oh, they all come together, and Redeemer's going to lose spots because of it. Facetas benefiting from that little argy-bargy, and now Sven released onto the back of Heatwave. Can he do anything with the Mercedes, or is he going to suffer the same fate as Redeemer? Is he going to get bottled up behind this guy? He's riding the tail of that Mercedes through the second sector. Maybe a little bit of contact, and ooh, Heatwave just kind of not sure what that was all about. Oh, and makes contact with Facetas. That's going to put Facetas a little bit off. Facetas actually ghosts out there. Not sure what's going on here with the Mercedes. Did he maybe get a puncture? He does have a puncture on the right front. Oh, no. He runs very wide. Maybe going to try to cut back across the track. He does. Unfortunate for him, he missed the pit entry line. We'll see if anything comes of that, but I doubt it because he had a puncture. So that's going to put Sven into a solid P6. Going to look here at Andrew and Guido. Andrew was within DRS range. Maybe made a little bit of a mistake. We're on the final lap here.
Rawlings got into 3.5 seconds.
He has indeed. I think he might. He's going to get third. I don't think he's going to get second, though. Actually, he picks up a second time penalty right there.
There it goes.
Yep, there goes that second place possibility. So Joe wins the Austrian Grand Prix commandingly by 11, almost 12 seconds from ARS Guido, who's going to come home in P2. Andrew's going to come home P3 for the moment. Where does Rawlings get? He's going to go nowhere. So Rawlings in P4. Silkweaver's going to come home in P5. Again, just having a nice, solid, quiet night for the McLaren team in Austria for this young man. Doing very well. Aero Sven coming down to the line. And Boostler and Marlin and Redeemer all getting Facetas on penalties there at the end. Dark Eyes coming home in 11th. Traceman going to come home 12th for the moment. Nope. Killer jumps, got spun around early in the race. P8 on penalties. Wow.
Wow.
Just think where he would have been had he not gotten knocked backwards. He lost probably a good 10, 12 seconds on that. He probably would have been 6th or maybe even 5th looking at it, possibly. So, unfortunate for him, but overall, good job to him for recovering from that spin earlier. Driver of the day, obviously going to SSR Rawlings, coming from P18 to P4. doing a very good job to make up places after a pretty abysmal qualifying. We're going to get these guys in here and do some interviews here momentarily. Sit tight for us, folks.
I really thought Andrew was going to get him.
Congratulations going to Joe and the Haas team for pulling off another impressive victory here in Tier 3 for BRL. Trace Me picking up 29 seconds of penalties, I think, gets our dunce cap award tonight for the McLaren team down in P14. Not the night he particularly wanted, and he does, in fact, have the most penalties of anybody. So, dunce cap award going to Trace Me tonight.
Killer the only one to keep it clean?
It is possible.
I'm in Heat Wave. Good job by them.
Good job by those guys. Heatwave, unfortunately, ending up down there with that puncture in P13. He just couldn't hang on. That's gutting for him to be clean the entire race and have a puncture on the last lap. All right, looks like we are just waiting on Guido here, if he is going to join us. All right, well, we're going to start off with the man who won the race tonight by a commanding almost 12 seconds, Mr. Joe Gators. Joe F1 in the Haas. Congratulations, buddy. Commanding performance, pole, win. I think you led just about every lap, too.
Oh yeah, it was a good race. I felt like I had the strategy advantage on everyone else. Everyone else tried to go longer on the mediums, but the undercut was better. So it was a nice and easy race, I guess.
It looked like it. You pretty well had command of the field from the start. Being out in front here is a huge advantage, especially if you can break that DRS early and just get away from everybody, because it's just a constant theme around here. If you can break DRS and you're a little bit quicker, you will just drive away because people start getting in DRS change and fighting over position, and then it just piles in from there. So, good job to you, buddy. That is going to put you in the championship lead solidly ahead of Mex Facetas, who I believe did not score or barely scored at all tonight. So, championship advantage, you.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on to the man who scored P3 tonight for the Ferrari team, Mex Andrew GP. Looked like he maybe had a shot there at P2 on Guido early on in the race, but
yeah,
I think he maybe
it
just got
was
you a little bit
close.
on the strategy there.
Yeah, the strategy going well. I think I risked too much with the soft until the lap 16, I think. I was very nervous with the steering wheel because the part of the behind was very tricky to manage, but yeah, it was a very good comeback from the 7th position, I think, and yeah, it was a very good race, I think. At the end, I don't know who. I think Red Bull overtake us I think Gutidu and me. But yeah, this cut me the pace, but it was a very good race.
All right, Toxin, do you have any questions for our two podium finishers that we have in here tonight?
Nope, I think Andrew actually explained the question I had.
All right, well, let's tell you what, we're going to go, since we can't get Guido in here, let's see if we can't get the guy who made the comeback of the night in here. Just so that way we have three, because two doesn't really seem to do it justice. When he gets in here, we'll ask him about what exactly happened and go from there.
Me? Sorry?
Now, we're talking about Weiser Square, a.k.a. Killer, as we have Rawlings in here. So, other comeback of the night, not the greatest qualifying, buddy Rawlings. You got to learn to take it a little more chill in qualifying.
Oh.
Jeopardy music. All right. Okay, the gamer picture on that one, I'm just kind of like, okay, what the heck? You kids. Yeah, I kind of questioned the first. I've kind of questioned the strategy a little bit. First off, going because I did the same strategy. I did hard to actually soft. I went to lap 25 or 26, and then came in my race. And I kind of questioned that strategy a little bit on your part, just having done it myself and knowing that it doesn't exactly work out as good as the medium to soft reverse strategy. Yeah, in hindsight, it's easy to say that. So, good job to you get P4, though, all things considered. So, folks, that is going to wrap us up here. It doesn't look like Weiser is going to join us to talk about his comeback tonight from getting spun around pretty much early part of the race. So, for BRL, this has been Toxin NS and BRL Williams once again. Y'all will probably not see me next week. It'll probably be somebody else filling in. I'm going to probably be a little bit preoccupied. So, I will see you definitely in 2 weeks' time, if not next week. Good night, and good luck.